There is a free wireless internet signal all across North America, and nobody has figured out how to use it. It's like the Force. Sorry, have you seen Star Wars?
No.
A scene from the movie BlackBerry, which premieres today, the rags to riches story of research in motion, directed by Canadian filmmaker Matt Johnson. I'm going to let Eli tell you who that is, the actor playing that role, because you almost never even recognize him, I don't think. We'll get to that. But Eli's here to tell us more about this. A lot of really keen interest in this movie because, of course, we know this story. Yeah. We lived this story. It's legend.
This is like a Canadian heritage moment blown up into blockbuster size, but you have never seen a business story quite like this, and that is because of the director that they picked to tell this story. You saw him there on screen because he also plays the best friend Doug, but we're talking about Matt Johnson. So Matt Johnson is to Canadian film what Frank Zappa was to rock and roll. Like, he likes to make a mess. He likes to bend or break the rules. He is loud, comedic, and chaotic. He's known for movies like Operation Avalanche, The Dirties, his TV show Nirvana the Band, The Show, and everything he does has this kind of cinema verite, almost mockumentary style where the camera is floating in the background and he puts his actors in the middle of the action, and you can't quite tell what is real or fake. But of course, the story of BlackBerry was very real, and at the center of that action is the brilliant engineer Mike Lazaridis. Yes, played by Jay Baruchel with the glasses
and the wig.
And that shocking wig. So when we first see Research in Motion, it is this scrappy little workshop in Waterloo, Ontario at a strip mall next to the Shoppers Drug Mart. This little dingy room brimming with nerds that are trying to make the greatest phone in the world. So Mike is there, Doug is there, but Mike, brilliant, yes, businessman, not so much. The company is floundering. Enter, there you see him, Jim Balsillie, as played by, that is, talking about wigs, well, that is Glenn Howerton, who shaved his head. You might recognize him from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, committing to this business deal maker entirely. Jim is a piranha, and he's looking for bigger fish to chomp. And when he hears that these nerds have developed a phone where you can check your email and surf this free wireless spectrum, he knows he has found his big white whale. Let's take a look.
That guy is sketchy. I don't think he's sketchy. The guy's a shark.
I know how to market it, and I know who we can sell it to. But I want 50% of the company, and I've got to be CEO.
I don't know who you think you are, but deal. Are you joking?
Mike needs Jim, and Jim needs Mike. Together, they begin cobbling together this device, but the arms race is on. US Robotics is already creating their own phone. Jim wants a prototype yesterday, but the thing about Michael Lazaridis, you get this sense of he's not going to compromise. He's quiet, he's withdrawn, but he wants to make the greatest thing that has ever been made. Jim just wants a prop he can show off to investors. Take a look.
We're in a race to get this thing to market, and we are a year behind. I need a prototype.
I'll do it perfectly, or I don't do it.
Mike, are you familiar with the saying, perfect is the enemy of good?
Well, good enough is the enemy of humanity.
So Baruchel gives us a sense of that drive for perfection, to make something that is the best the world has ever seen. But as the BlackBerry launches, of course, we remember it exploded in popularity. We see the network could be crashing. And meanwhile, off in the distance, Apple's like, phones, interesting. We should get in on that.
Do you see what I have here?
You do.
For inspiration. Speaking of props, thank you, Deb Tweedle, who still has her. Boy, I miss this keyboard.
Yeah, they were great.
Everybody
Tactile.
misses the keyboard. Oh, boy, that's a great one. So we know the story, and it's captured with some artistic license, as you said, in the Matt Johnson way. Performances. Let's talk about Jay Baruchel, because this is something very different for him, I think.
I think what's interesting is, up until now, whenever you see Jay Baruchel in the movie Goon, in Knocked Up, and Tropic Thunder, there's always this certain kind of Jayness to everything he plays. That's why people like him. He brings that certain quality. But as Matt Johnson was explaining to me, the challenge of playing Mike Lazaridis is that he's like 80% internal. And so when Jay was talking about taking on this part, that's actually what excited him, is that he had to really fight his comedic instincts and learn how to be something very different than himself. Let's take a listen.
I just have to kind of just keep my hands from moving, and you know, resist any kind of resist sort of urges that I've developed over the years of like always looking for the easiest joke. I guess I'm a bit of a whore for laughs, and so playing defense against that has been like the heavy lifting.
But that's why he took this part. Because he felt like, he told me, I kind of proved myself in comedy. Like, I know how to do that. There's no question. This was new terrain for him. And that is what's so exciting. Now, don't get me wrong. This is a chaotic and comedic film, but it's also a dramatic performance. Like, he is playing this character straight. And the other secret weapon is Matt Johnson. He insisted that Matt Johnson be on screen as the best friend, Doug. Now, that could have been another actor, an actor that might have got a little more attention to the film. But every movie that Matt Johnson makes, he is always on camera, and Jay said, I wanted that experience. And together, these two best friends, they are yin and yang. It's such a beautiful combination. The insular inventor who is shy but brilliant, this gregarious, almost cheerleader of the company, keeping all those nerds driven and focused. And so I think they both brought something out of each other.
So we know Social Network, we know Succession, lots of tech storylines out there captured cinematically right now. Put this one in that sort of panoply and give it a number.
I'm going to say what they've done, and I think their insight is getting underneath all the business drama and really making this story about friendship and what happens as you grow and how you try to hang on to those ideals and ethics. This is about two friends who invited a shark into their playhouse, and we know how that turned out. I think it is the best thing that Johnson has ever made. I think it's a really exciting new view of Jay Baruchel, an amazing Canadian story. And when Johnson texted Baruchel to be in this film, Baruchel answered that text on his own BlackBerry. Because he was a user until 2021. So he was the right man for the job. This is the right film and the right people to tell the story. 4.5 stars out of 5.
I'll keep this one. You're not getting it back, Deb. All right, Eli, thanks so much. It looks great.
Pleasure.